So most companies know that they've got a problem with tags, but honestly, they don't even know where to begin to fix the problem. So what we'd like to do is to start people off with what we call an environment summary. Here, you can get an overview of what your current tagging environment looks like. You can find out how many taggable resources you have. You can find out how many tags you actually have on those resources, the average number of tags per resource, and then your overall tag health score. Now, this is actually a really important metric because it gives you an indication of how healthy and complete your tag environment is. So let's take a closer look at your tag health score. So your tag health score has three components: coverage, compliance, and clarity. Your coverage score measures how many of your resources are actually being tagged. Most companies are only tagging a fraction of the available resources, and if you're not taking the time to tag all of your resources, you'll lose the ability to do things like aggregate costs and do different types of analysis based off of those tags. Now, when we're talking about compliance, what we're talking about is compliance with your tag policies. Tag policies help set the standard of what you want your tags to look like in terms of syntax, content, and things of that nature. Now, what we do with Tag Manager is we evaluate every single tag on every single resource, and we measure its compliance against your tag policies to come up with your overall compliance score. And the final component is clarity, and clarity refers to all things syntax related. So, in other words, do you have 5 different versions of an application key? Some with a capital A and some with lowercase, maybe some misspellings or different variants of the word application. We actually have some very sophisticated algorithms that go out there and find those, and then we've got a great tool called Tag Consolidation that will help you unify all of those tag keys into a single standard name. So at the end of the day, your tag health score is designed to help you understand specifically where you have problems, and then Tag Manager gives you all the tools that you need to fix each one of these problems. One of the tools that we give you is the ability to break down your tag health score by components. And so in this case, we're looking at your score broken out by resource type. So maybe today I want to focus in on cleaning up EBS volumes or EC2s or RDS, but I can very quickly change my perspective. What if I want to look at this by owner instead? Well, I can quickly recast your score. I can then sort this from low to high. And I can find out which owners are doing a very good job of tagging and which ones need a little bit more help. Now, I can also look at this by application as well. And the idea here is that you want to be able to pinpoint specifically where your problem is. Is it related to an application, a resource type, an owner? You can slice and dice this data a million different ways to help you pinpoint specifically where that root cause problem is. Now, once you're ready to actually make changes to these tags, all you have to do is simply click on a line item. And it's going to take you over to Tag Explorer, and it's going to automatically bring in all of the resources related to that line item. So as we're kind of looking through these tags, it looks like everything's in pretty good shape, but we noticed that in the owner column, there's one line item where Julie does not have her last name. Now, when you're making changes in Tag Manager, you can do it one of 2 different ways. You can either just change a single cell, or you can do batch processing, which will change lots of different things. So in the case of Julie, we just need to add her last name. So I can just click on that cell, I can type in her last name and hit apply, and it's going to instantly go through and update the tag in real time. Now, we can also do batch process changing. So in other words, what if Julie leaves the company, right? And we need to assign these resources to the next person. In this case, I'd want to do a batch process. So I can just come over here and say select all, update tags, rename the tag values. I want to pick the owner tag. I want to replace Julie Jones or replace her with, let's just call it Mary Smith. And very quickly, I can just update all of those tags instantly. And this is great because a lot of times as you're doing just basic maintenance and being able to maintain tags as people come and go in the organization is a huge nightmare. We can reduce that to a very, very simple manageable process with Tag Manager. All right, the next thing I want to do is show you how to do what we call tag consolidation. So I'm going to go back into Tag Intelligence. I'm going to go over to Tag Consolidation. And really the purpose of this is to help you clean up a lot of the syntax issues with your tag keys. So for example, you may have different versions of the word application. Some of it might be uppercase, some might be lowercase, might be spelling issues, different variants of the same word. At the end of the day, we want to consolidate those all into a single tag key so you can look at all of the application things together. So in this case, we've got 72 resources that have an application key and 11 that have an application with a lowercase a. I want to change all of these 11 to be the uppercase a. Now, one of the complexities here that may not necessarily be obvious is that this may be spread across dozens, maybe hundreds of accounts, multiple regions within those accounts. And with Tag Manager, we have the ability to go through and help you clean up all of these at one simple motion. So for example, I can pick all of these 11 items at once. I can say I want to update these keys. I want to call these an application with a capital A. And then what it's going to do is it's going to take you over to Tag Explorer, where it's going to bring in all of those individual resources. And it's going to show you the current state, what the future state is going to be. It's going to show you that we're going from application with a little a to application with a big capital A. And then I'm going to be able to update these all in one motion. So just like that, it's going to go through and update it. And as if we go back to the tag intelligence, we can go back to tag consolidation. And I can see that now all 83 resources have the capital A application. All right, so the last thing I want to show you is Tag Explorer. Now, Tag Explorer is really the heart and soul of Tag Manager. Now, when you think about Tag Explorer, think of this as a really advanced query engine specifically related to your tagging environment. So Tag Explorer starts out with your entire universe of taggable resources, but I can very quickly apply filters to distill this down to a list of things that I care about. So for example, I can say, I'm looking for a list of all the resources related to a particular application. So in this case, let's just pick on Oracle here for a second. I'll create a filter, and it's going to instantly bring in all of those resources, and it's going to bring in the tags associated with those resources. Now, let's talk about this data grid for a second, because it is very, very flexible. So for example, if you want to look at the name column in the leftmost column, it's all just drag and drop. So you can slide things around as you like. Any one of these columns, you can go down, apply filters, you can sort from high to low. So very, very flexible from that perspective. You also can completely control the layout and configuration of this data grid. So for example, if you don't like the column layouts, you can go through and quickly change the location of any of these. You can add, you can remove different columns. And the cool thing is you're not really limited to just tagging data. We actually have access to all of the metadata. So for example, if you're looking for EC2s and you want to find, well, what instance type is this? You can add it as a column and then just drop that in here, hit save, and then instantly it's going to add in the instance type for all of your EC2s. Now, this is a very condensed data set for demo purposes, but for very large environments, you can imagine how powerful this is to be able to just help you understand the dynamics of what you have in terms of profile of all of your resources. All right, so once you got your columns the way you like them and you've got your filters set, and now when you're going through and making changes to your environment, again, you can make changes one of two different ways. You can either just make changes to a specific cell. So for example, I can take this Aaron Davis and I can just quickly make the change that we need to. Or we also have the ability to do batch process changes. So I can select all or some subset of this, and I can then go through and we can add tags to these resources. We can remove tags. We can rename the tag keys, rename the tag values. So we have a tremendous amount of flexibility to go through and manage these tag environment in a very, very efficient manner. All right, so that's it for this quick overview of our Tag Manager product. If you have any questions or would like to sign up for a free trial, please visit our website at cloudsaver.com.